In this, we'll cover about the basics of BI, and we'll talk about data warehousing concepts, and then on the detail about the Pentaho BI suite. As I said that we are going to start with this Pentaho BI. So here are the modules listed. There are total 8 modules we are going to cover. And today's for first class, so we'll talk about the introduction to Pentaho BI suites. And the second module will talk about Pentaho Report Designer. We'll talk about very basic about the Report Designer tool. And in module 3, we'll cover about Pentaho Report Designer Advanced. So here we'll look into more of what are the advanced features of using Pentaho Report Designer tool. In module 4, we'll talk about Pentaho Data Integration Tool. This is the tool basically used for the ETL purpose. We'll obviously talk about these in details. And first, in module 4, we'll talk about the introduction there. In module 5, we'll talk about again the ETL Pentaho Data Integration Tool. And here we'll look into the transformation, how you create transformations basically. And in module 6, we'll cover up with the continue with the Pentaho Data Integration Tool, and we'll look into jobs and scheduling and all. So it's basically nothing but how you actually connect your transformation so that it can be formed as a job. And in module 7, we'll cover about Pentaho BA server and user console. So we'll talk about the server capabilities and the user consoles of the Pentaho. And in the last module, which is very important, we'll talk about the project. Okay, so we'll have around 3 hours session. So obviously, if you have some questions, some doubts, you can always raise. I will definitely try to answer each and every question, but in case, and looking at the time constraint, we might have to. So you can always contact us through Twitter, through Facebook, and through our support, 24/7 support. Okay, somebody has asked Satish that will you cover Hadoop integration with PDI? Yes, definitely we'll try up with some example in this. Okay, so the objective of this session, as I said, we'll talk about Pentaho business intelligence and the business intelligence concepts and data warehousing concepts, and we'll definitely see one case study which is you would say the actually getting used in the real world, and of course we'll talk about different products of Pentaho BI, which is PDI, PRD. Like I just now explained also. So to begin with the BI concepts, we'll see what is business intelligence. So business intelligence is nothing but it is about transforming the business data into a useful information so that it can be more interactive, and organizations can take fact-based decisions around it. As we are all aware that nowadays we have so much of data available, in different forms. And you could see on the left side of the screen that different forms of data are shown here. This is all business data, you could say, through internet, through mobile, through email, through forums. So the volume of the data is very huge with the organizations, and you always have a ways and means you're looking for that you could actually take out some information. You can actually take out you can actually transform this data in a form so that you can actually make some decisions or the business decisions around it. So companies are actually looking for that kind of solution. So okay, so why do you need business intelligence, and what is the need like? As I said that the volume of the with the organization, the volume of the data is actually increasing, and they are actually looking for solutions which are cost effective and which are readily available, so that you don't have to spend more time into it and things like that. So we'll see how it is like. what would be my insightful decision based on ocean of data? Yes, as I said, the volume of data. So when you have so much of data, so how you can actually have your decisions on top of that, so that the company can actually make some profit, or actually they can change their strategies, and also that they can actually grow in the market. So how quick can I take decisions based on the huge data? So yes, that's a end-to-end BI solution. End-to-end BI solution is nothing but, okay, I'll tell you what is it like in the real world the BI implementation is. As we must have all aware of the software project life cycle, so BI projects also in the real world have a life cycle of this. So to begin with, it starts with the requirement gathering. So you actually interact with the client, for which actually you are doing the BI implementation, and you take the requirements from the client. You understand their business, you understand their existing data, in which form it is, and what kind of information, what kind of reports actually he is looking out of those data which is actually available with him. So this is one part of the BI life cycle. So starts with requirement gathering. Then the next step is you once you have the requirements with you, you can actually think of like in which better way you can actually present to the client. So you have a data warehousing concepts around it. You develop your dimensional model in which you actually store your data. So it's basically you design a dimensional model. We'll look into dimensional model in detail in the following slides. It starts with the requirement gathering phase. As I said, if you have heard, you basically do the requirement gathering at the client side, for which you are actually doing the BI implementation. So you understand their business model, you understand their data sources, in the forms the data is available with the client. So you basically understand that, and you understand like what kind of reports and dashboard they are looking for. And then you can actually design a data warehouse around it. We'll talk about this in detail in the following slides. And then the next step is, once you have your data warehouse ready, now the point is you need to populate that data warehouse with the data of the client. So that is where the ETL steps here into picture. So you basically, ETL is extract, transform, and load. So you extract the data from the client, from the data source, and you actually transform it. Transforming it nothing but cleaning and cleansing of the data, so that it is in the form of the data warehouse, and you can actually finally load it into the data warehouse. So once you have your data in your data warehouse, you can actually have your reports and dashboard built on top of it using any of the reporting tool you could talk about. So we'll see how we will actually cover this life cycle of the BI in our following classes. Okay. So, next is, how can I integrate heterogeneous data feeds to common platform to analyze it further? Like, as I said, if the data with the client is available in different forms, it could be flat files, it could be RDBMS, it could be big data, it could be structured, it could be unstructured. So any kind of data. So how you do it? It is basically through ETL. You actually transform your data and load into the data warehouse. How to interpret raw data in best possible manner? Okay, so it's like you have your data. Now, even if you have your data in the data warehouse, it's still the data. But to make it more meaningful and to take decisions around it, you actually do have the analytics basically built. Okay, can I predict the future of my business strategy? Yeah, it's through predictive analysis. Basically, how you actually do it. What is the best way to share the data? Okay, so you have your data in your data warehouse. Of course, that is not meaningful to the business users. That is just figures and table and columns. So to make it useful and to make it understandable to the business users, you can actually have it in reports and dashboards and things like that. So how can I monitor the dynamics of changing trends? So, okay, it's through dashboard. So dashboard is nothing but a snapshot of an organization. It is mostly available to the top management to see how business is doing. So it's through KPIs, graphs, and charts. Basically, how you show. See how your, for example, how my product is doing, how which are the areas where I need to more focus in terms of my business, or where in which area the product is really not selling. So these kind of things which you can actually get answered on the dashboard. So that is like changing trends. Like you can actually have your a view of, let's say, last 1 year. So it shows you that trend. So that is how it is like. Okay, business intelligence components. As I said, like different data, different types of data which are available, the volume and the structures and everything. So how you actually transform in a way so that it is understandable, it is available to the business users. So I hope this is what they have shown the life cycle here only. Like as you see on the top, data integration, the ETL part. Metadata management is nothing, but we'll see in detail in the following slides. It's nothing but you can say it's a layer between, it's a business layer basically between your database and the reporting. And analytics, where you can do the analysis and all. Operational reporting is, again, you have your reports it could be reports, it could be chart reports, could be any type, tabular, matrix. So these are the things. Ad hoc reporting is yeah, again a new word for you guys. It's basically you want, because every time business users cannot depend on IT guys to develop them a report. So it's a kind of web-based tool which is available to the users, so that if they want, they can have their reports developed on their own. So that is ad hoc reporting. So that is the feature of Pentaho BI, of course. So you can actually drag and drop the columns and you can actually develop that report. We'll see that. And dashboards we talk about, it shows the trend and the snapshot of the organization. And governance is nothing but user role mapping and scheduling and things like that. Okay. Business intelligence concept. So as we are all aware that business intelligence is actually known and it's in place from so many years now. So and its primary job was more around structured data, which used to integrate at data warehouse. Yeah, as I said earlier also, like you have your data which is available, so you can actually have it in a form which is actually understandable to the BI part. So you have it in your data warehouse. I think we'll talk about data warehousing concept in the following slide. And with the time and the evolving technologies, BI has been evolved to cater to disrupted data growth. Yeah, with time, it has evolved very better, because with the technologies and coming different tools and all in the market, it has actually evolved very well. Earlier there were basic reporting tools around, like crystal reports and all, if you must have heard of. But now there are so many tools available which are more interactive and more user-friendly. So that is how it's actually evolved. So BI can crunch structured and unstructured data. So yeah, as I said, like you can have any kind of data, structured, unstructured, flat files, anything, big data, you can actually have it in the form so that it's understandable. And BI essentially intended for the following three things: precise and concise interpretation of data. Yeah, as I said, the volume of data is very huge, and it actually helps you in that to understanding it in a very precise and concise manner. And then you can actually have your new opportunities you can actually identify with it, and implementing an effective strategy. So it's like implementing an effective strategy can provide a competitive market edge to the organizations. I think so far it's good. If you have anything, please, you can always raise a question. So here it shows like the different BI solutions available in the market. You must have heard of, like, there are proprietary tools which are big vendors in the market, like IBM, SAS BI, SAP BI, Microsoft, Oracle, and there are few like which are new in the market, but they are doing pretty well. And Pentaho Jaspersoft is of course one of them, and it is basically an open source. So open source is nothing but which is you could say it is available to the end user, anybody, and they can actually download it and actually use it. So that is how it is available. And ClickTech and Tableau, these are all new in the market with their own proprietary things. Okay, this is how it shows, like what all different data integration tools and analytics tools you have in the market. Like data integration tools like Informatica, we have shown here. So there are different data integration tools for the ETL purpose available in the market, like Informatica, SAS, DI, data integration. Similarly, Oracle also have one. So everyone has their own data integration tool. Pentaho, of course, they have their Pentaho data integration tool. And for analytics purpose, we have the Rapid Miner here. So what are the existing challenges in the BI? So here are, like, most of the established solutions are bulky, which adds to infrastructure costs. Like, yeah, as we just now seen that most of the BI vendors which are there in the market, they are very huge in cost. So it is one of the problem which is there. And of course the licensing cost of the which is also very huge. And now the integration period is relatively high. So it's always like how fast you can actually integrate your BI solution to your on top of your existing infrastructure of the organization. You have your ERP, CRM. So how fast you can actually integrate it. So that is one of the key area you need to focus on. And then obviously once you have your BI implemented, so the maintenance cost is obviously could be high on that part. So, and if you think of new build solution, it is difficult to get all BI offerings under the single hood. So it's like the new which we just discussed, the new tools in the market, BI tools. It's not everything is available in the same thing. So it's like the BI lifecycle needs to be covered with the single BI tool. So as we discussed, what is like BI lifecycle. We'll talk about, we'll see here what are the different Pentaho tools and how it is mapped to the BI stack. BI stack is nothing but your BI lifecycle, how it is actually, mapped. So first is like ETL. So ETL is, we are doing it through Pentaho data integration tool. Of course, we'll see that in detail. Metadata management is Metadata Editor. We have, it's nothing but it maps your physical structure of your database with the logical business module. We'll see that in detail also. Analytics through Pentaho BI, it's a BA. It's nothing but your Pentaho server. We'll see that. Operational reporting through Report Designer, PRD, Pentaho Report Designer. So any kind of reports which you want to develop, you can actually develop it using PRD. Ad hoc reporting is tough. So it is one of the tools which are available with Pentaho, which is like for the ad hoc reporting, and it's available with both Enterprise Edition and Community Edition. We'll talk about Community and Enterprise in the following slides. And dashboards. So for the dashboard, we have a Community Dashboard Editor. So it is again for the, you could say, a dashboard designer kind of tool which is available. Governance and monitoring, Pentaho User Console, PUC, is available. It is again, as I said, you can actually have your user role mapping, what all access needs to be given to which business users, and how you actually schedule your reports and things like that. Okay, Rajeshri Ghosh has asked, what is ad hoc reporting? Ad hoc reporting, as I said, if you like, it's like you want business users can develop their own reports on their own, so that they don't have to depend every time on the IT guys to develop them reports. Because when we see how Pentaho Report Designer and deployment and all works, so it requires little bit of technical knowledge around how to develop your report, how to write SQL queries, and how you can actually publish it on the Pentaho server. But to a business user or to the upper management or anybody in the business area, they might not be that technically sound, or they can actually do it. So it's a kind of web interface which is available to the end user, and they can actually develop their own reports. In a way, you have your columns in a lay language, I'll say. The columns listed on the left side of the screen, and you can actually drag it on the right side, which are the space available, and the reports get developed there. We'll see that in the following classes, how you do it. Okay, Trupti Pradhan has asked, what is the difference between Pentaho tool and BI stack? Is BI stack only available for reporting purpose? No, it's not like that. It is, see, it's not anything different. Here, what is shown in the screen and what we just discussed also, as I said, there is a complete BI life cycle, if you understand. So, you have your ETL, you have your reporting, you have your dashboards, so things like that. But okay, now when you say which tool or how Pentaho will specifically do it, or using which Pentaho tool you will use what part of the BI life cycle. So this is what is shown here. Like for the ETL part, for transformation or extracting data from the source to the data warehouse loading, you actually use Pentaho data integration tool. So it's a kind of for the ETL you have PDI, for reporting you have Pentaho Report Designer. I hope I made it clear, Trupti. Okay, Ganpati has asked, like, what is kettle? Okay, yeah, kettle was actually used way before when Pentaho took this with them. It's an ETL tool. It's basically, you could say, name of the Pentaho data integration tool was ETL before Pentaho adopted this, like taken this community project with them. So now they renamed it to the Pentaho data integration tool. Is that okay, Ganpati? Yeah. Okay. Pentaho case study, Lufthansa. Yes, as I said in the beginning, that we'll be looking at the case study which are implemented in the real world. We'll take up one example here. Okay, so what was the business challenge with the Lufthansa was they wanted to build a solution for their inter-airline through check-in and accessible and available real-time for operational monitoring through dashboard. So for like they wanted to have a real-time accessibility to other airlines to see their check-in and everything. So that is that was their business challenge, how to get this implemented. So how it was done through Pentaho, we'll see that. So and they got the Pentaho installed on the 16-core machine with the database MySQL, and then they have their the ETL part done through Pentaho data integration tool, and for the reporting and the dashboard and ad hoc reporting, everything for the analysis of the data, they have used Pentaho Business Analytics. Okay, so after implementation of the Pentaho, how it actually helped Lufthansa in actually overcoming their business challenges. So Lufthansa will able to aggregate and feed data to analyze data from the key decision making purposes. So you can actually whatever data was there in the source systems they can actually have it available in the real time for the decision making purposes for the organization. So management now receives instant notification of transmission errors, enabling the company to detect pattern on large amounts of data in real time. So like I said, like it's actually useful for the upper management and business users. So with this, the management of the Lufthansa now get, if anything goes wrong, any problem is there, any error is there, they get immediate alert on that, so that they can actually work around it in the real time. Now, partner airlines also receives alert in case of transmission errors between different IT systems for passenger data. Like as it was for the inter airline thing they have implemented. So now the partner airlines can actually also get the same alerts and errors, whatever is happening, so that they can actually work around it. Lufthansa is able to comprehensively monitor one of its most important core processes in real time for quality management, the transfer of passenger data between different airlines. Yes, of course, that is required, because that was required for them, so that whenever you do you have your check-ins or boarding passes and everything, so the data could be available to different partner airlines, in the real time. Okay, similarly, Pentaho is in production for other few listed here also. You could see there are Makito, Xaction, so there are different, it's a, most of, you must have heard of, like now every big and small mid-sized organizations are actually, implementing Pentaho BI. Okay. Okay, so now we'll see like how we might have some questions, and we can actually, quizzes and all, we can actually answer it here. Okay, what are the difficulties with existing BI solution? If anybody would like to answer on this. Okay, I got few responses saying they are costly and they are cost effective. There are difficulties like large data sets and all. Prashant has answered. Yeah, that's good. So you understand so far. So most of the enterprise solutions are bulky and costly to maintain. Their onboarding time is high. Yeah, as you guys have already answered this. Like the costly, as in the license cost and the one-time buying the software is the costly, and the integration time and the implementation cost is also very high. So now we'll go more deeper into the Pentaho suite. We'll look into more detail each of the components, each of the different tools of Pentaho. So here we can see this is the the component architecture view here. So we'll see from top to bottom. Okay, presentation layer, you can we can say it can be viewed in any of the presentation layer, like browser or portal, web services. Through you can actually access that data in Pentaho. And then there comes the layer of the you can say the presentation layer, kind of how it is available in the presentation, the data. So it's through reporting, it's through analysis, it's through dashboard, it's through process management. And business intelligence platform, yes, it talks about the the security and the repository where you can actually store your data and everything, and your jobs and everything you have designed. And administrative tasks, like you define the user role mapping and everything, you actually have it in this. And then the data and application integration. So it is very important, as I said, it's the integration layer of ETL, which is Now in the end you could see there is third-party applications, ERP, CRM, legacy data, OLAP, other applications, local data. So yes, it is shown. If you could imagine, the source database could be anything, and on top of that you are actually having your Pentaho BI suite. So if you can actually think like that. So once you have it, so you can actually extract data from these third-party applications, and through using your Pentaho ETL data integration tool, and make it available in the presentation layer through reporting and dashboard. I hope I am making sense. Okay, so here we'll see each layer in detail, and we'll talk about each of them in the following slides. Architecture view here is saying the data layer, server layer, and the client layer. We'll see how what all there in the individual layers. Okay, so this is the data layer. So it's through Pentaho data integration tool you basically do it. So you can actually connect it to virtually any kind of data sources. As you can see in the right side, flat files, Hadoop, NoSQL, RDBMS, any high performance analytic database. So you can actually have it connected to any of the data sources available, which is very useful and which is very good, I hope. Okay, now the server layer, this is the middle layer of the Pentaho BI architecture. So it is like these applications run on server, and serves as middle layer. There are BA server, Pentaho User Console, Pentaho Data Integration Server. So it's like the BA server where you actually deploy your reports and dashboards you design and available it to the end user. And User Console is again for the as I said, for the user role mapping and security, and what data or which report to be shown to the which user in the organization. And what else is there in Pentaho User Console? You can actually schedule your jobs, you can actually schedule your reports to run it on some specific time. And Pentaho Data Integration Server, it is nothing but running your ETL jobs and transformations. This is for that Pentaho Data Integration Server. This runs your ETLs and runs your jobs and transformations. Okay, this is the third layer. Of course, this is very important layer, because the business user or the most of the users interact. So there are two different clients are there, thin and thick client. We'll see that in detail. Thin client runs on server. So it's Community Dashboard Editor, Pentaho Analyzer, your ad hoc reporting and things like that. So it's basically to the end user. So you have reports, dashboards, and available to the end user to view. And thick clients are mentioned here as Schema Workbench, Aggregation Designer, Metadata Editor, Report Designer. I don't know why Data Integration Studio Data Studio is shown here, but yes, it's part of it. So Schema Workbench, we'll see that in the following slide. It's nothing but for your cube designing. We'll see that in detail. Aggregation Designer, will see that in detail. It's basically having your aggregation or the aggregated data to be available for the reporting purposes. Aggregation or aggregated data is basically consolidated kind of. You have your, for example, you have your sales in 1 month's data you have. Like every day you are selling each of the product, and aggregation is doing like in 1 month the sum of that sale, you actually store it so that it's available readily for the reporting. You don't have to do sum and everything of for the monthly sale in the report. So it's readily, the measure is available readily for the reporting purpose. So Metadata Editor is for your metadata designing. Like as I said, it's a mapping between your physical database and the business logic. And the Report Designer, Of course, that's for your designing the reports. Okay. So so far we have understood about basics of BI and looked into different components of the Pentaho. Now we'll in the going forward and in the upcoming classes we'll look each and every tool in detail, their usability and features. Yeah, we're good to go ahead. So far things are clear. Yeah, that's great. Okay guys, now what you're seeing here is Pentaho BA server. This is how your Pentaho will look like when you run it in the browser. We'll see obviously this in the detail obviously. Okay, so here we talk about Pentaho BA server, that is the server layer which is the middle layer of the architecture. So like host content created both in server itself through plugins or file published in the server from the desktop application. So yes, what it explains as it is like whatever plugins you have, for example, for the ad hoc reporting, for the community dashboard editor, you have it in the BA server, or you develop some reports using Pentaho report designer and everything, you publish it there. So it's available for both the things. So manages security, yes, it manages security, like you give access to the business user to the specific data, to the specific reports what they're looking for or what they're intended to look into. And running reports, of course, once you have your reports developed, you actually deploy it in the Pentaho BA server, so it runs those reports for the viewing purposes. Displaying and designing dashboards. Yes, this is like for the report designing, you have a Pentaho report designer, but for the dashboard designing, you have it on the Pentaho BA server itself. So it's available on the web, so you have it designed on the online. Report bursting is there, OLAP analysis, online analytic processing. So it is like you doing the online analysis of your data basically. Mondrian with MDX support. Okay, what is Mondrian? Mondrian is nothing but your it's a Java based client for running your cubes. MDX is the it's a type of query which we'll see that in detail. Pentaho report designer, we discussed about it I think, so it's for designing of your reports. Pentaho analyzer and Pentaho, it's basically for your ad hoc reporting which is there. Scheduling and monitoring, as I said, you can actually schedule your report. It is like you develop some report and you wanted to schedule it to run it at specific time and deliver it to the business user. Like for example, somebody or in the top management, they want to see how my product is doing, right? So every morning they come to the office, so they want to see that report, how my product is doing or how much inventory is there left in my inventory. So those kind of reports, if they are interested in looking at every day, so you can actually schedule it and run it on some specific time in the morning and make it available. You can actually email also, so that it's they don't have to log in and see, they can actually have it in the email also. Can be extended with commercial as well as open source plugin like ctools. It's like I said, like for the commercial edition of Pentaho, so you can actually extend it, like you can actually, ctools is about this ad hoc reporting and all. Run by default on Apache Tomcat, but can be embedded in Java-based application server, in any Java-based application server. Yes, by default, Pentaho comes with the Apache Tomcat, but you can actually run it on any of the Java-based application server, JBoss and everything. You can actually run it. So this comes in two flavors, Community Edition and Enterprise Edition. We'll see in the following slide what is the difference between these two. Okay, Prashant has asked why is significance on why BI got renamed to BA on this platform. Now they have introduced like analytics, and also they have renamed to Pentaho Business Analytics. Okay, so here we see the as you guys were asking about this also, like difference between Community Edition and Enterprise Edition. So here you can actually see the feature-wise difference. You can see there is one open source and rest three are professional standard, professional premium and enterprise. These three are paid versions, and open source is like available for anybody on the net to use it. So you can see there are different features which are not available and which are available in enterprise. You have an enterprise reporting is there, report designer and all. You don't have interactive reporting which are available only in the enterprise dashboard. You can these things dashboard and all you can actually do it. Community dashboard editor is there which you need to download separately and you can actually use it. And data integration, yes, PDI is available, but without scheduling it is written. Through web interface you cannot schedule it, but from the command line you can actually schedule the jobs and transformations. Secure data integration, like all those user role mapping and everything is not available here in community, and things like that. So there are so many features which are there in Enterprise Edition. And most of and the major difference why you actually go for enterprise is of course the the feature wise, but the support also, which is very main. So you have anything you want to ask, or you have some problem doing implementation of the Pentaho BI suite, you can actually get it through enterprise. So looking at this, you could see in three different versions of Enterprise Edition, the SLA is showing 4 hours, 1 hour and 1 hour. What does it mean? How quickly they respond to your queries. So this is how it shows here. Name support contacts, so it gives you like some specific contacts where you can actually contact for any doubts or any queries. Okay guys, we'll ask few questions here. What are different layers in Pentaho architecture? Anybody can answer on that? Yeah, I'm getting few responses. That's really great. Like Prashant has said, presentation, data. Satish has said 3. Trupti saying presentation layer. Rashri said client layer. Trupti said business intelligence platform. Trupti, 3 different layers are data layer, server layer, and the presentation layer, where you have thin and thick clients. So business intelligence platform is not layer, it's overall thing. So data layer is for the data integration part, your ETL. You can connect to any of the data sources. Server layer is the middle layer where everything runs, like it's a kind of server. And the third layer is presentation layer, thin and thick client. Thin is like you have your reports and dashboard available to the end user. Okay, there are 3 layers in Pentaho architecture. There are data layers, server layers, client tools. Client tools as in the client layer, as in the presentation layer, thin and thick. We have already seen what is it in detail already. Okay guys, now to see like in brief Obviously, we'll be taking up all these individually in the following classes. We'll take up just brief about it. What is reporting and how Pentaho Pentaho Report Designer is this about. So what is reporting? Any idea, guys? What is it like? Why? Like so far, I have explained few things. Why you need reporting and what is reporting? So anybody can answer on that? Or why you do it basically? Or what type of reporting you have? Anybody? Yeah, that's great. Prashant has answered, presenting data in a way that is helpful to make decisions. Yeah, that's correct. That is one of the very main reason. User understandable format. Yeah, of course, to some extent, and in a you can you have your data in a very beautiful way presented and understandable. That's correct. Trupti said to give matrix on important measures to executives. Yeah, that's great. It depends what kind of report it is. It could be summary report, or it could be detailed report, or it could be you're just showing the top 10 products or top 10 clients or something like that. So yeah, decision making. Rajshri saying, yeah, that's great, guys. You guys are really understanding well. So what is reporting? Regular provision of information is So like as you guys have already known that you have your reports so that the data is available regularly to the business users, and they can actually we'll see how the filtration of the data is there. Like the report is showing 1 year of data, so I want to see some specific month of data, so that kind of thing. So how you actually filter your data and you can actually see it right from historical data, base data. Yeah, actually if we talk about BI is basically dealing with your historical data all about, or historical plus ongoing data. So to see the trends of the data, you have your historical like 5 years, 10 year of data, and you can actually make it available in reports, and you can actually see that. For decision makers, yes, but yes, of course, when you have some figures and trends in front of you, and the organizations can actually think how my company is doing, how much profit, how much which area, so things like that they can actually take decisions upon. Okay. Okay, before talking this slide, I'll just show you the Pentaho Report Designer tool here. I don't know if you guys have seen it earlier or not, but I'll not explain much about this right now, because we have obviously individual classes in detail on this. This is just to show you like how this is, and on the right side you could see there is data, there is structure tab and the data tab. Data tab is to define your data connections. We'll see everything in detail, don't worry about it. I'm just giving you an idea. Data connection to connect to your data warehouse, database, so that from where you need to pull the data. And structure, it basically shows the structure of the report. You guys must be aware of the report metadata. It's nothing. Metadata is standard or by default. It could be any tool or any client you could say, any reporting client you could talk about. So the basic of report, the report metadata is more or less same with everyone. You have page editor, you have page footer, you have report header, you have report footer, in between you have details. So I'll explain like page header and page footer. So it's like available on the page header and footer. So every screen you can see actually this in every page. Report header it's available on your report once you have it, and footer is available at the end. And detail, where you can actually see your detail of the report, the transactional data, where you actually see like, okay, product A with it's selling this much figure and all. So those details are available in the middle layer. So this is about the Pentaho. This is about the report metadata. So it's like that. And we'll see there are two ways of designing report here. We'll see if you could see there is. I clicked on file. There is new, and there is report design wizard. So when you click on new, this screen will open, and when you click on report designer, the report designer wizard will open, and you can actually design your reports using that. We'll see all that in detail in the following classes. I think for now, I think this is good to go. Okay, Prashant has asked, like, can you explain what is metadata again, please? I was just telling about the report, metadata, like what is it like? You have your different, layers in report. You have page header, footer, and report header, footer, and detail. Report header is nothing but your name of the columns. You could say it shows up there, like report, amount, product, amount, cost price, selling price, things like that. And detail is saying like product A, 20 measures, like things like that. So it is shown here. I made it clear, Prashant? Yeah, thanks. Okay, so Pentaho Report Designer is a pixel level accurate reporting tool. It is open source, containing rich set of features as listed below. Yeah, it's a very good tool, and it's a pixel level. Pixel level, obviously, like pixel. So very accurate reporting you can get. There is no gaps and all. So it's very good and good to see in fact. So rich GUI, it's rich graphical user interface. It's very easy to learn, and it's feature-wise and things like that. It's very good. It's very rich, you could say. Always allows to create relational analytic reports from wide range of data sources. Yes, again, it is like you can connect to any data source and you can actually develop your analytics or relational data reports. It supports sub-reports, charts, and graphs. Yes, you can develop sub-reports, charts, graphs using this Pentaho Report Designer. Sub-reports are nothing but you have your main report, and on clicking of, you want to see some detail of some particular product. So, for example, you want to see some detail of some client. You have your client data or your employee data in front of you. So it's nothing but, I would say, the visualization or the kind of presentation you want to give to the end user or to the business user, I would say. So it's all how you actually develop or you design your reports. And yes, you can have your charts, graphs, any type of charts and graphs you can actually develop. Support API-based reporting. Yeah, it's like you can actually in the last line this one it is written API-based reporting can be embedded in Java in Java applications. Suppose you develop your report in Pentaho Report Designer and you want to actually show it on your existing some Java applications running in your organizations. So there are APIs available. You can actually run those reports in those applications as well. Pentaho reporting engine execute the report designed by TRD. Yeah, it's again like the whatever report you design in Pentaho Report Designer, the reporting engine actually execute or actually run those reports in the Pentaho BA. Okay, guys. As I've already shown you, what is it like the Pentaho Report Designer tool is. Here you can see, and you can probably see in with example or with the report designed here. Okay, we'll look into a few details about the Pentaho data integration tool for the ETL purpose. So what is it about, like the concept? You can see three different layers are shown here: source, ETL process, and target. So source could be, as we have discussed so many times in this class, like source could be of any kind, any type you can actually connect with using Pentaho, data integration tool. And as it's shown here, relational database, files, NoSQL, so you can connect to Hadoop, MongoDB, and things like that. Okay, the ETL process. I think this is the main area, and this is the pain area, I would say. Okay, not exactly, but yes, this is more useful where you actually do the transformation of your data. Like you're doing the data cleansing, you're doing your aggregation, joining. So you need to, when you see in detail how you design your transformation and all, it's more of a, you could say the, what you say, the logic how you actually want your source data to be populated to your target database, data warehouse. You need to have that kind of thought process because in real-time scenarios there are places you need to implement some logic to extract data, and then you need to transform it so that it can be more usefully it is available in the data warehouse. So that is how basically you do it. We'll see all that in detail in the following classes. And data warehouse target is where you actually load your data once you extract and transform your data from the data source, from the source systems. Okay. What are the factors which can be accomplished using Pentaho BA? Anybody can answer on that? Okay, we'll see. So, okay, you are saying question is confusing. Okay, let's see the answer and you will understand it better then. So it's like you can manage your security, running reports, dashboard designing, reporting, OLAP analysis. It's basically your drill down and drill through the analysis, you can say, and Pentaho report designer. Yeah, it's again the reporting and all. So is it clear now, Prashant? So we'll see here in detail what is Pentaho data integration tool, Kettle. Okay, here is your, somebody asked about like what is Kettle. So this is referred as PDI or still popularly known as Kettle, which was its original project name. So as I said before, Pentaho took it, it was known as Kettle, but still people are know about this tool with the name of Kettle. Okay, so DI server. Okay, before actually looking into this slide in detail, I'll just show you the Pentaho this tool. Okay, this is Pentaho data integration tool called as Spoon. Okay, what is Spoon? Spoon is basically your GUI tool for designing for developing your jobs and transformations. So this is very easy to learn and it is very user friendly. Well, you will not find any difficulty. It's so easy and anybody can use it very quickly on that. I'll just explain in brief here. I'll not go much in detail because we have separate session for that. So as you could see, there is one transformation already opened with the name of dim_product, which is here if you can see on the top. So this is about the transformation I have developed for loading the dimension table in my data warehouse. We'll see all that in detail. So on the left side, if you could see, there is two tabs, view and design. View, you can see there is database connection. So of course, to get data from data warehouse or to load data into data warehouse, you need to first build a database connection. So this is how you actually do the database connection. We'll see in that detail later. And in the design tab, you can see different nodes are there, input, output, transform, utility, things like that are there. So it's very easy. Input is from where you need to extract that data. So you could see there is n number of, I would say, data sources available. As we talked about in our previous slides, it can virtually integrate or connect with any data source. So CVS, fixed file input, Excel or LDAP input, OLAP input, SAP input, table input, things like that. So this is about the input, and similarly now you want to load this data. We'll talk about transformation later. Load this data. So the table output, where you want to output this. So there are different outputs which are available which you can actually load data to. And transformation. Transform is nothing but it's, you can say, in between your input and output. So you need to have your different connectors here, logics here, which you can actually build. We'll see all that in detail. And yeah, I think good to go for this with this. Okay, Rashri has asked, what is transformation here and when not used as ETL? I didn't get the second question. I think I already explained where. Yeah, transformation is basically for your loading of your data, like extracting and loading. So you basically design a transformation. It's a term basically which is getting used here. Okay, difference between kettle and spoon. Trupti has asked this. Trupti, I'll answer this question once we'll see that slide now. You will get this answer. Okay. So DI server application. It's DI server is data integration server, core component. It executes jobs and transformation using PDI engine. So as I said, you develop your jobs and transformations using using Spoon, and the Pentaho data integration engine basically which runs or executes these components. How has default user and role-based security can also be integrated with existing LDAP Active Directory security provider. So yes, this is for the repository which they are talking about, which is not available feature with the community edition, which is available in the enterprise edition. You can actually connect to LDAP or Active Directory for the different users, and you can actually store your transformations and jobs stored at one common place so that it can be accessible to all the users in real-time scenarios. Okay, these are the design tools standalone. I would say design tool is one of them, that is Spoon only. That is the GUI tool which we have just seen. So it is for designing your jobs and transformations. So it's the client tool. The end user can use it for designing their jobs and transformations. Okay, kitchen and span. Kitchen and pan is your command prompt tool to execute your jobs and transformations. Kitchen is used to run any of your job and transformation, and pan is to just run your transformation, if I'm not wrong. So like I said, in the real-time scenarios, what happened is, okay, I'll just explain with an example what we have done for the, I was talking about the retail domain project. So as I explained you, we had this 2-3 different data sources to extract data from and load into data warehouse. And so for that matter, we developed all the jobs and transformations using Spoon. Now, and you can actually run it. So in the real-time scenarios, how you do it, you basically in the data warehouse, you load the historical data once in one go. So once you have your historical data as in of data available with the organizations for let's say for last 5-10 years, things like that. So you have your data, this data available. So you load that data once in your data warehouse. Now going forward on the daily basis, you will not be able to run entire data again and again into your data warehouse. So you always do the incremental load. So incremental load is like you are just loading what is there, any database changes happened in the data on the source side, let's say for the previous day. So you take just that incremental data and you load it in the data warehouse. Now the point is, you will not sit and run this job or transformation manually every day or some specific time. So you need to schedule these jobs. So like for our project, what we have done, their requirement was to run these jobs and transformation once in a week. So it's like 1 week data you need to load every time. So we loaded their historical data to some cutoff date, and we actually did the incremental loading of data weekly. That was their requirement. So so we schedule that job on the weekly basis using Windows Scheduler. You can use it for the community edition, and it runs that particular job on some specific date and time to run that incremental data into your data warehouse. So this is the, you can say, the command prompt facility or the feature of the PDI. Kate is nothing but your remote ETL server for your scheduling and all. And data connections, as I've already explained, this is for making connections to your source and the target database. Transformation is nothing; it's a term for extracting and loading your data into the data warehouse after doing some cleansing and aggregation and all around the data. This we have already seen. I have shown you the tool itself. This is you can see again one transformation is built here using some text file inputs, and the table output is there, and this is how it works. We'll see all this in practical example in the coming classes. Okay. Okay, so it's about now we'll talk about Pentaho Metadata Editor thing. So we'll talk about first about the metadata concept here. Okay, it is data about data, though the second term is used in the preview of types like technical, business, and processes. Yes, as I explained. Metadata is nothing but it maps your physical data structure into a more logical business model. As you can see in the diagram, it is shown the domain model and the metadata terms. So you could see there is thing like email, person, priority, but in the business term, you have it in different in a different language altogether. You could say it's a different language or different words you use it, so that it is more easily understandable to the non-technical person or the business users. So you have your, with the email you have your subject, send date and all, so and priority type, priority level, so these are the things. So it is data that describes business intelligence like mapping, aggregation, transformations, and rules. So yes, it is showing basically the mapping and the how the data is actually mapped all together. So this is it about that. Okay, Pentaho Metadata Editor tool. It's a design tool from Pentaho that facilitates user to build Pentaho metadata domain and relational model. Yes, it's a tool for designing your model for the metadata models, As I said, it maps your physical structure to the business model, so that it's understandable to the business users. These mappings between physical to logical data are stored in centralized repository, which in turn helps administrator to achieve. See, as I said, it creates business specific data dictionary, which gives better understanding of model. So the data dictionary, as in you have your business terms on top of your database terms, so that it's understandable to the end user, reducing low to no impact of change in low level database because of abstraction layer. So if there are minor changes in the databases, you don't have to worry on that. Setting fine access control to object and parameters using access control list. So it's like what kind of access you want to give to which user you can actually, and what object you want to expose to. Localizing information to users' original settings. So you can actually localize, as in the languages you can actually do it. You can actually change it to. Okay, this is Pentaho metadata. You can see that the screen is there shown. As shown in the screenshot, which also gives a very schematic view of TE's interface layout. Yes, as you can see, there is again on the left side you could see there is connection and business model. So connection is, again, you need to first make create a connection to which database you want to connect to, and on the right side you could see there is a model designed here. So these are all, excuse me, these are all business terms, or you could say they have used to show that. The sample metadata model contains customers and their order details in the workspace on right side of the pan, which is called Metadata Editor graph. Yes, as I explained, on the right side it is showing you the detailed business model. You can see all the business objects represented on graph with their interrelationship. Yes, the relationships are defined one to many and many to many. These are all relationships which are defined here. The given screenshot despites metadata data model for the customers and their order details. Yeah, so as you could see, it talks about the customer and their orders and order details and the product and the payments. Okay, so we'll see here what is like model of the metadata. Pentaho Metadata has metadata business model as one major component, as shown. In the representation, each independent business object has its unique color. Pentaho domain has business objects as connection, physical table, physical columns, business table, business columns, category. So yeah, as you could see, there is a on the left side there is physical layer. So it talks about more of the database columns and tables. First relationship inherits the metadata with ability to override it. Whereas same business object had two objects, actually one and the same. I think you will understand all this in more detail, and once we'll see that in our following classes how you actually develop this metadata model, because here you won't understand much, but I'll try to explain. So in the this thing on the bottom you could see there is a inherits from relationship. So what it's doing, the business layer is actually making the relationship with the database, the physical layer. And now you on the right side you would see how it will be shown in to the business view, like how it will be shown to the business user. We have already seen this. I think no need to explain again. But yes, we'll definitely need to have some practical example around it. Once we have that some specific class, we'll talk about this in detail there. Okay. OLAP introduction. OLAP is your analytical processing system support business by accessing data in various formats. It's about your, if I say OLAP is a cube. I don't know if you guys are aware of this term. It's you could say it's a three-dimensional model. We'll see that in detail also in the following slide. So cube is getting designed, and it is in between your database and the presentation layer. So it is for the it's a kind of metadata kind of thing. You have your structure available here, and you query this OLAP cube using specific MDX type of query, which we just seen in the previous slide also, and you can actually extract the data from the data warehouse. So there are two different types of OLAP shown here, ROLAP and MOLAP. So ROLAP uses data warehouse for data. So it's a relational OLAP basically, ROLAP. So you have your data warehouse in the RDBMS. So it is hello. Am I audible now? Okay, that's great. That's great then. I think I don't know when we lost it. I'm really sorry for that. And I was just explaining this OLAP concept, the cube. So I think I was explaining about this ROLAP thing. It is about the relational OLAP. You basically have your metadata in your cube, and you actually extract it from the relational database. And MOLAP is your memory OLAP. You use cubes for data, so you have your data stored in cubes. Okay, so these are the different existing OLAP. Excuse me. Different OLAPs in the market available. You could see their list. So Pentaho uses a Mondrian OLAP server, which is free to use. So this is the thing. Okay, we'll talk about Mondrian analysis in detail here. ROLAP server, relational online analytical processing. As I said, this is ROLAP. It actually, on the relational data warehouse it works on. This comes under analysis services and codenamed as Mondrian, which is very useful to slice and dice the data. Okay, yes, this is the thing, like you need to slice and dice, as in you need to drill down and drill through your data. So basically you use it for that purpose, the cube and all. Open source OLAP server written on pure Java. Yes, this as I said in the beginning also, this Mondrian, that this is on the Java platform. Supports MDX multi-dimensional expression query language. So it's almost similar to your SQL, but it is but this MDX is specifically for the OLAP querying. Multi-dimensional expression, MDX is a query language for OLAP databases, much like SQL is a query language for relational databases. Yes, as I said just now, that it is for the OLAP databases and similar to the SQL. Mondrian schema is universal metadata acceptor supported by almost any OLAP client. Yeah, so Mondrian is like again standalone, so it can be supported by any of the OLAP client, like Pentaho. Okay, how metadata is maintained in OLAP? Okay guys, I think before we talk about multi-dimensional cube, which is shown on the left side, we'll talk about this star schema model, because this is the basic and we are going to spend some time on this screen. So I'll explain as I was telling you about the data warehouse and the dimensional modeling thing. So in your OLTP systems, online transactional processing. So OLTP as in your ERP CRM, where your concurrent users are more. So they're hitting, they're querying, they're inserting, they're updating, so that kind of data. But data warehouse is which you just use for the querying purposes. So RDBMS have a different data model type. But in data warehouse, you design your model in two different ways. This is very, very basic and very useful and very important. Please listen it carefully. Two type of data models you design for the data warehouse. It is star schema and the snowflake schema. Star schema is shown here. Snowflake schema is not shown here. I'll explain this and explain snowflake also. Star schema is, as you can see from the picture, it is in the star shape. In between you can see there is a fact table and around it there is a dimension table. Now what is dimension table? Please listen it very carefully. This is very important and this is the concept of data warehousing. On top of that you do the ETL and BI and everything, you do reporting and things like that. So what is dimension? Dimension is basically your entity. For example, in an organization you have customer, you have product list, you have location list, you have employee list. So it's a kind of, you could say, a master data. And one of the very important dimension here is time dimension. Time dimension is nowhere specific to any organization, like all other dimensions could be, of course. But time dimension is stores your time in a way, like it has got different columns in date, month, year. So it's a kind of that data you could see, month description, quarter ID, quarter description. So this is time dimension is very important. You always talk about viewing report, any kind of analysis on time, like how my product is doing from last 1 year, how much sale we have done in the past 1 month, how much walk-in customers are there in my store on the daily basis. So these kind of answers. So it's always associated with time. So these kind of the business queries or business KPIs they are looking at. So this is about the star schema. I explained you about the dimension. Now what is fact table? Fact table is nothing but it contains your foreign keys to the dimension table and your measures. Now what is measure? Measure is basically your numerical value, like my selling price is 40. I have sold 1,000 products. So when you say 10, 40, things like that, so these are all your measures. So which these are the figures which are actually useful to the business user. So you have it in the fact. So it's like dimension and factor link make it a star schema. So you guys, I'll explain Snowflake. Have you understood star schema, dimension and fact table? Prashant is saying yes. That's good. Satish, what about you? Trupti, Rashri is there. You guys understanding this? Star schema, fact table, dimension table. I must tell you this is very important because whenever we'll talk about different examples in our following classes, we will take up some examples, stating reports. We will do the transformation and things like that. We always refer to the term dimension. We'll refer to the term fact table, and of course we will design the star schema before that. So you must understand that. Prashant is saying, I don't understand the multidimensional cube, but yeah, I understand the star schema. Friend, this is what I'm telling you. I'm just telling you, first of all, this star schema and the Snowflake schema, this thing, dimension and fact table. So understand this first. We'll talk about cube after this. Satish is saying, repeat please. Everything like the what is fact table, what is dimension table, what is star schema, you want to listen everything again, right? Okay, fact and dimension. Fact and dimension. See, dimension table in a very simple language, in a very quickly to understand, I'll say it's a master table. Like you have in your OLTP, you have your master tables and your transactional table. So you basically have your dimension table, your master table. It contains your entity. It's your entity basically, like list of product items. Your list of items. Your company is having different offices at different locations. So all offices are listed. So it's about the master data on top of which you want to do some analysis, because you will be doing analysis on product. So it's a kind of like you are saying, okay, how my product A is doing. So it's the product name is stored in this, and product you could say how it is doing, how it is selling. So that measure thing, the figure thing, or anything which tells you how it is doing, it is in fact table. And fact table and dimension tables are joined using primary key and foreign key relationship, which is very basic of any modeling. I made it clear, Satish? Probably you will understand more once we have it, with the example, with some real data. You could actually understand it more when you see it. Okay, on the left side we can see there is a multi-dimensional cube. Okay, so here we'll just see how it is. Here you can see Jan and February 01. This is your nothing but the time dimension related to, and figures are basically your measures. And on top you could see there is some location is there, and on the left side you could see standard PC, executive PC, and basic PC. This is our products. So it's a kind of cube. You view your data basically. So I don't know if you guys can understand. Maybe we'll have it in detailed session also about this. So you want to see, like in January at the location Rome, how my products are doing. So you could actually see the figures here. So it's a kind of, it's a representation here. Obviously it's not the way it's when you have it cube designed using your schema workbench and all, but this is it about like how the cube is basically. And then basically you will slice and dice and you look more deeper into it. So you want to see, like in January in the first week or in the second week, how it is doing. So things like that, you can actually play around with that, the kind of analysis you want to do. Okay, sorry, I forgot to mention, I'll explain this. I forgot to mention about the snowflake schema. This is another type of schema. Snowflake schema is nothing with the parent-child relationship. So the basic structure will remain same, except the dimension will have one more table linked to this, not to the fact table. Fact table, if it will link to the fact table, it will be again a star schema. But when you, let's say for product dimension, you have your anything child of this product is linked to this particular product table. So this is how the snowflake schema will look like, parent-child relationship. But yeah, now the question will come, which one is to use and why? As we have two different type of schemas. It's always good to use star schema because of the lesser joins. The lesser joins you will have in your query, the faster it will return your result. So you always prefer using star schema. In some cases, wherever it is not possible, you might have some limitation and things like that. You go for snowflake schema, but try avoiding use that because you have an extra join for that. So your query will become bulky and it will take more time to run to get the result. Rashi is asking, snowflake is a denormalized one. Yes, Rashi, it is. Okay, I think we need to, where's the time? It's only, okay. How to connect to Mondrian engine. Okay, as we studied, Mondrian is an OLAP server which maintains data in multi-dimensional fashion. When you want to access any of the existing cube, you need some client. Yes, you need to have some client, as in the reporting tool from where you can actually access that cube. So as I said, it's in between your report and your actual data warehouse. So it just contains the business layer, just the metadata of the data warehouse. So you actually query it using some reporting tool, let's say Pentaho Report Designer, and you can actually query this and fetch the data from the data warehouse and publish it on the report only using multi-dimensional expression, MDX. Okay, as Mondrian support MDX query language, any MDX supported OLAP client can be used, or there are dedicated connectors to certain BI applications like Jaspersoft using which can establish the connection. So yes, I already explained this. You can query this using MDX. Mondrian is an OLAP, open source OLAP engine, and one can connect to it from code using its rich API. Yes, again it's an OPI open source engine, so you can actually have APIs, so you can actually connect it using APIs. But then the easiest way would to use their own client. Pentaho has its own client, Pentaho Schema Workbench, which we use to access data sitting on analysis services. So yes, Pentaho Schema Workbench is basically you're designing your cube on top of that. We'll see that in the following slide how it works. Okay, this is the Mondrian architecture. We'll try to see in detail, but this as such is not that much required because it's just like you need to know that how you design your cube and how you actually query it. But if you want to see it how internally it works, so you can actually probably see that. So on top of that, you can see there is HTTP UI. So this is how you can actually access that. So it's through JPivot client or any other client like Report and all. So you have that on that layer. Now using MDX, you have a session manager showing here. So using MDX, you make a connection, then they parse it, they validate it, and they evaluate it, and then you can actually have it available result set which can be passed back to the client layer, right? In more detail, if you go, you could see there is left side, there is schema manager. So schema XML file is shown on the left side. It's basically when you design a cube using schema workbench, it develops the schema file in the XML format. So you have the schema manager here, and but if you know about the XML and all, you can actually write your cube in that if you don't want to use a schema workbench, but it's good to use that because it's available, so it's easy to use that. And similarly, you have your star layer and dimensional layer showing here. So how it is basically, once you get connection and everything, to MDX validator pass it to the SQL database through aggregate loader and everything through JDBC connection. So this is how you get your data back to the front on your client. Okay, Pentaho Schema Workbench, it's a design tool for the Mondrian client by Pentaho. It gives GUI for designing OLAP cubes. As I said, it is for designing your OLAP cubes. It generates XML. As I said, that when you design a cube in Schema Workbench, it is in the XML format. It's not necessary to create schema in Workbench. If you know XML structure, you can do it manually or programmatically, as I explained. Okay, this is the screenshot for the schema workbench. This is how you basically design your cube. Again, you need to first have a connection with the database. Then you can actually have your cube designed. We'll see that in the classes how you do it practically. Okay, Pentaho Aggregation Designer. Okay, as we saw in previous slide, star schema will have fact table connected with multiple dimension tables. Right, we have seen that there is a star schema where you have fact in the middle and product, customer, channel, time dimension are all linked. So if the fact table has more than 10 million records, cube with high cardinality of levels and members, you are advised to pre-aggregate data for optimal performance. So this is something like, okay, I'll take an example here. As it's saying, you have huge volume of transactional data. Every day, every minute, you have your product selling or anything. You have your transactional data huge, and on the report, your mostly reports or your reports are on like how much you're not bothered like every minute how your product is doing or selling or whatever. So you want to see, okay, how my product is doing in a month, how my salesperson is actually performing, how much product he has sold. So in a month, in a year, so you kept this aggregated data in a aggregated table, fact table. So I'll tell you, you have your fact table, dimension table. On top of fact table, you have your aggregated data, aggregated fact table. So because every time the fact table get entry or get refreshed, the aggregated data must get refreshed, because every time there is a sale, so that monthly data should get accurate or precise on that. So aggregation is basically you're looking at some consolidated figure on top of that transactional data. So Pentaho Aggregation Designer helps in achieving this, and it runs on top of Mondrian Schema OLAP Cube. It simplifies creation and deployment of aggregation table. So it basically simplifies your creation. It helps in designing your aggregation tables. Contains intelligent advisor that can evaluate structure and cardinality of your OLAP cube and recommends initial set of aggregate tables for better performance. Yes. Yes, because why you want to aggregate a table? So that you can have your report, in a better performance. It performs better, because imagine every time you run a report and you are actually, doing some of a yearly data to show of your previous 10 years record. So every time you do sum of your 365 days, then you get 1 year sum. Then you have this. So this takes time. So so to have a better performance, you have your always have your aggregated data available readily for the reports, and this helps you in that to identifying on which you need to have your aggregated fact table. Okay, this shows the screen. It again the same thing. You need to have connections and everything, and you can actually develop it. We'll see that in detail. Okay, now we'll talk about dashboard. One can create charts containing KPIs and publish them in dashboard on BA server to share with broader audience. Yes, as I said earlier also, dashboard is, what is dashboard basically? Dashboard is basically, it's a snapshot for the upper management or to the business users to have a quick look of how the organization or how my things are doing, how my business is doing. So you can have, it's always good to have dashboards with KPIs, with charts, KPIs like my top 10 products, my top 10 customers, top 10 locations, and you can probably show it in a chart and graph saying, okay, in a year how my product is doing. In a map, you can Google Maps and all, you can actually show in which location. More interactive. So it's more interactive, it's more useful, it's more understandable and more quickly to understand. Because imagine if you have a report, showing all the details, like you're showing thousands of products and all, or how it's doing. So the upper management doesn't have that much time to go through all those detailed reports. So they always have a snapshot dashboard available so that they can have it quickly look on that. There could be several ways to build dashboard. Pentaho Report Designer is available only in EE. As I said, that Pentaho Report Designer only in Enterprise Edition. In Community Dashboard Editor is Community Edition, comes under cTool plugins. Yes, when you download your Pentaho BA, it doesn't contain your Community Dashboard Editor. It comes with cTools plugin. So you need to download it separately and have it. And Scout plugin is again with the Enterprise Edition only, ad hoc reporting. We'll be using CDE, which has come to Pentaho after acquisition of Web Details. We'll be using the Community Dashboard Editor. Can be integrated with Pentaho server, as I said. You can download it from the marketplace. This is based on common framework and it simplifies creation, edition, and rendering of cTool dashboard. So it basically simplifies your creation for the dashboard. You can also use custom CSS to get your own look and feel. So you can always, because every organization want to have their own look and feel. Look and feel as in how it should look. They should have their company logo or some specific specifications. They have their reports and dashboard to be presented to the business users, and they want to show it in a very good manner. So you can always do that using CSS. CSS is custom style sheet. I hope everyone is aware of that. Okay, this is one of the screenshots shown here is for the dashboard. As I said, you always show like like here it is showing all parks. Some Disney dashboard is there. How many visits are there, and fan clubs. How many fan clubs you can see, and then on the right side you could see there is one pie chart is there. There is graph is there. So you have it in a very interactive manner. On the right side top you could see there is 2004 drop down, December, and go. So it is like you are actually passing parameters to the dashboard to show the specific data for that period if you want to see it. It could be for the dashboard or it could be for some specific chart or report. Rashri has asked, like, is schema workbench is available in Community Edition? Yes, you can actually download it separately. It is available on community.pentaho.org. So you have all your community tools available there. Pentaho BA Community Edition, Schema Workbench, Aggregation Designer, your Report Designer, your Metadata Designer, everything is available. You can always download it. And of course, you have to download it before the next class. Okay, this talks about the scheduling feature of jobs and monitoring them. So which is available in the enterprise edition, not in the community edition, as I explained earlier. So you can actually schedule it like daily basis you want to run, what time you want to run, so different parameters. So it is very useful for scheduling and monitoring your jobs and transformations. Okay, this is about the ad hoc reporting plugin which is available with the enterprise edition. It is created by community developer. Yes, you can actually have it for the community edition. You can download it separately. Embedable, extendable, and configurable. You can actually configure it for the community edition. It started as a basic GWT-based wrapper around OLAP 4J library and underwent complete rewrite in 2010. It was started way back, and now they have revamped it. Offers user-friendly web-based analytics solutions. So it's more user-friendly. As I said, you have, as I was saying, how you have your ad hoc reporting. You have on the left side all your fact tables and dimension tables listed there with columns and all. You can actually drag and drop on the right side, which is available for the creation of report. Capability to connect to wide range of OLAP servers like Mondrian. Yes, you can connect to your cube which you have designed. You can actually have report built on top of that. Can be deployed rapidly and efficiently. It is easy to deploy. Okay, why do I need OLAP if RDMM is already available? It's a question about like why do you need a data warehouse or the dimensional model star schema, snowflake schema if you already have RDBMS with you. So it is data of data used to share abstract information with business users, as you all guys rightly said. How can Mondrian help in analytics? Our OLAP, and which is useful in analysis. It's basically you have your in between your client and the database, you have your cube design so that you can actually have it in a very quick way. You have your data in the reports, and for the analysis, drill down and drill through, you can actually do it. How can I build community dashboard? Anybody? Anyone?